the kind who wear a tie. Button up from 9 to 5. I tried that life but said goodbye. I'm not always polite, but I get the job done. Who says the world can never be fun? I'm simply unprofessional. Simply unprofessional. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simply Unprofessional. I'm your host, Webby. Joining me tonight, we got Rob.
Hey, everybody, it's Rob.
And we got Donnie.
Hey, it's Donnie.
And joining us again, we got Ryan.
Hey, I'm here again.
And for the first time, special guest, Lex.
Hi, I'm Lex.
All right, so a couple things. Lex, this is your first time at the end of the episode. I'm gonna ask you to tell a very particular superhero to fuck off.
Okay.
It is important that you do it, but I suppose only if you mean it.
It's okay. I won't let you down.
Okay. All right. Well, today we're going to be answering some D&D questions. Now, the way this is kind of set up is essentially it's a list of 20 questions, and for each one that you answer, you progress a level. They're not super hard questions. I did have to think on some of them just because I don't know if I could think of a particular thing. That's pretty much as hard as this gets. But some of them are pretty fun. Myself and Donnie, we already talked about this yesterday, so today we're going to be answering in character as two of our characters from D&D, Gambit and Thorn. So for the rest of you, you are all peasants or shopkeepers. You are non-adventurers because you're level 0. So to start your adventuring career, we'll start with Lex. Question number 1. If you were a D&D character, what race and class would you be?
Okay, well, this is easy because before we started playing D&D, I always thought I was going to be a Wood Elf Ranger, and then I started playing a Wood Elf Ranger, and I was like, yeah, this fits.
So, Wood Elf Ranger.
Yeah, that was easy and quick.
Alrighty. Well, welcome to adventuring life.
Yes.
Ryan, which would you be?
Jeez. Probably a human wizard?
Okay.
There's some unsureness in there, but...
Alright. Rob, what would you choose?
For class, definitely Bard. For race, I'm drawn towards human as I am in the game, but it would be fun to be something else. I'm thinking maybe a water genasi. I like that one.
Okay. Now I do have to ask, not that there is no wrong answers, obviously. Ryan, why would you choose human if you could be another race?
Why would I choose to be human? I don't know, it just... I have trouble getting into character as, like, non... I don't know if there's a good way to say it. Like,
As non-human races?
You're just used to being a human?
well, see, but, like, tieflings are fine, like, elves are fine, but, like, I can't get into character as, like, a minotaur, or as, like, you know...
Well, I think you do pretty good as a small cat.
You do play a small cat.
I just kind of fall back on human.
Yeah, his reasoning is basically the same as mine, where it's like, I know what it's like to be a human. I don't know what it's like to be a centaur or a...
Right.
Whatever.
So, I suppose that would make role-playing a lot easier. Okay, Gambit. What about you?
Well, not a pretty boy wood elf, I'll tell you that. But Winter, Eldrin, Wizard, of course.
Even
Do these questions get harder?
I mean, yes. You're bougie. You're just like Devin now, Mr. Eladrin.
I quit.
Yeah.
It's the last time I'll ever be on here, guys. Enjoy it.
Figured. And obviously, you know, Mousefolk Bard, Master Race. I learned that from you.
Is this how it feels to talk to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it good?
No.
All right. Keep that in mind moving forward. Okay. What are you gonna say, Rob?
I'd say this is gonna, for the listeners, this is gonna seem like it's way out of left field, but there are a lot of Dr. Pepper flavored things. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. Are there more than 23? There are. They say there's only 23 flavors.
Yeah, 23 flavors of the soda, but like they have their own line of jelly beans made by the Jelly Bean Company.
Oh.
They have a Dr. Pepper flavored gum from Hubba Bubba. They have Dr. Pepper sweet and kickin' barbecue sauce and Dr. Pepper more than mesquite marinade.
There's also Dr. Pepper beans I learned the other day.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper baked beans.
Yep.
Dr. Pepper flavored lip balm.
I had
Brockes, Brockes has Dr. Pepper Orange Crush and A&W root beer flavored hard candies. There's a Dr. Pepper ice cream topping syrup called Dr. Pepper's Cherry Dessert Topping. There's a Dr. Pepper Slurpee sold by 7-Eleven, and there are freezies of Dr. Pepper Grape Crush and Hare's Root Beer.
Okay.
This episode is brought to you in part by Dr.
Dr.
Pepper.
Pepper. I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper.
I wish.
Wouldn't you like to be?
I will shill for Dr. Pepper gladly.
Heck yeah. I mean, if hey, Dr. Pepper, if you want to sponsor an episode of Simply Unprofessional, we'll let you.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
To pull back the mystery of the current, we were talking about Dr. Pepper as a medicine before the episode started.
Yeah, it's because I finally got to try the Dr. Pepper Dark Berry limited edition flavor. It's phenomenal.
Good.
I love it. All right, second question. Let's level you guys up a bit. We're going to start with Ryan on this one.
Oh boy.
When and how did you first discover D&D, and when did you start playing?
So this takes me all the way back to middle school, actually. Because after class in like 8th grade, we used to go across the street to the library for a little bit before my friends got picked up, and then I would just walk home because I lived down the street. And they talked about D&D, and I don't know what version that would have been in what was that?
2008.
2005. But
probably either 3.5, maybe 4th. I don't remember when 4th edition came out.
Well, in any event, I basically went home. I Googled, D&D character creator. And of course, being 13, I made a level 20 character. And I was like, oh, they're so powerful. But we didn't actually play. I didn't play until your game.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, it kind of fell under the couch until your game, so.
Well, I apologize. I'm the only DM in the DM pool right now for you. There's no basis of comparison.
I've had 4 DMs.
Oh, okay.
Or
I'm going to say to you what I said to Donnie. What am I, chopped liver?
you're number 2. What do you mean?
No, I was
chopped
talking to
liver?
Webby because he's like, you don't have any other DMs in your DM pool.
That's true.
3 of you are here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Moving on from that blunder. Lex, what about you?
Okay, so I don't know when I learned about D&D, but I didn't know what it was, like how to play or anything, until, I don't know, 4 years ago-ish, because I started watching, like, tabletop games on, like, Twitch and stuff. Specifically, Hyper RPG is where I watched most of them, and they don't really even play Dungeons & Dragons, they play other systems of TTRPGs.
Okay.
But that was my first, I guess, insight into how they're played, and then I kind of went off into, well, what's Dungeons & Dragons, and how do I play that, and where do I get friends to do that? And it wasn't until the start of the pandemic where we all got together and put together our own game that I actually played myself. But my sister did play a game. She probably, I think they had like a session 0 and a session 1 where they played, and she was like, I don't like this, I don't get it. And I was like, but I want to get it. Tell me everything. I was just like obsessed with it, and she just would not tell me anything about it. I was so frustrated. That was probably about 6 years ago. But yeah.
That's when the D&D brain set in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just thought of something.
What?
I actually heard about D&D before middle school
Oh, probably, yeah.
from watching the news, where they told me that if I played D&D, I was going to murder all of my friends and sacrifice myself to Satan.
Yes, a satanic revival. Yep.
That and MySpace for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, Satan's MySpace is just filled with D&D stuff. That's all. All right, Rob, what about you?
Well, I also learned about D&D in middle school, but unlike the babies in the call, the internet was not a thing back then. So I was staying over at a cousin's house, doing like a sleepover, and his older sister was playing with her high school friends, and I was fascinated. Like, I sat in the living room and was listening to this, and I was just like, oh, this is amazing. So I ended up going out and using my allowance to buy a bunch of second editions, modules, which I actually have out there in the bookshelf. But no one would play with me. So I would read through and just make characters on paper because I couldn't do it online.
Wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
We're not that different in age, and we had internet in middle school. It was AOL.
Well, I should say I didn't have it at home. My parents did not own a computer because I didn't get a computer until I was in high school.
Gotcha.
At home. So yeah, the internet was a thing, I suppose. We had a computer class in middle school, but it didn't do anything online. It was mostly like teaching you how to use programs and stuff. So in my mind, there was no internet because I didn't know of it until high school because I had never used it. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't actually end up playing until I started listening to Dungeon and Randomness, and then a bunch of fans of that got together, which actually I got brought into that by Sabrina, and we played a couple games there, but there was a group of us that were supposed to play with Jason, but then it fell through. So we decided to do a game on our own. So I played with them for a couple years before I joined Distractions, and then I played with you guys.
Right on. All right, Gambit, what about you?
About 150 years ago in the trenches of the Winterfell. Also, I don't remember when we made Gambit. I don't know how long ago that was, Webby. Was that like 5-something years ago? 5-6 years ago?
Yeah. So, I mean, Thorin's answer is probably 5 years ago. Let's see. All right. We'll start with Lex on this one. I feel like this was going to be another easy one for you. 3rd level. What is your favorite race, class, and subclass to play?
You know, I'm gonna have to go. I can't even come up with one that's like not even the answer. It's 100% Beastmaster Ranger. I just love that class. I just think it's so much fun and it's so useful, even though it gets a bad rep sometimes. It's just so much fun for me. And I don't know, I'm always drawn to just elves in general. So, I mean, that's an easy answer.
Now, I will say before you guys hopped on the call, I had talked about Beastmaster Rangers, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth because I plan on having you on the episode where we do the Ranger subclasses, and we're going to rank them. But I do feel rules as written, Beastmaster Rangers are garbage.
100%.
But they are near and dear to my heart, so whenever I DM for somebody who wants to play them, I give a lot more leniency. I give a lot more fun little things to play around with to make the class more viable, more interesting to play, and be able to keep up with everybody else in the party and doing the roles that you want to do. So
I guess that is true because I play an alternate version, like you say. That one's a lot better. That's a lot of fun, but I don't know why they're written so bad. Like it feels like such like a classic like class and subclass and everything like that. You think that it would have more care to it.
yeah,
It just the way that they've crafted, and I'm speaking out of my ass because I haven't played anything prior to 5th edition, but the way that they've crafted 5th edition to work, it it forces them to make all of the companions have to take your bonus action with the assumption that you would lose your bonus action for the benefit of having this pet.
Mm-hmm.
But everything you need to do as a ranger is a bonus action other than attacking. So, like, it's weird.
Yeah, but I guess that's also kind of why I like how flexible TTRPGs can be, where you can make your own rules and you can change things as they feel better, obviously if it fits. But that's, I don't know. I think that's the beauty of it.
yeah. And I
They
mean,
definitely have a role to play, and it's a useful role. It's just mechanically, as far as combat goes, I feel like they kind of didn't do justice.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that I altered the rules enough to where you playing Raina and Ivy
Mm-hmm.
don't feel not left out. That's not the right word. Like
Like unmatched, or
like
like not matching everybody else.
right. You know, I'd like to think that I did an all right job as a DM doing that.
If you didn't, I probably like consider, since Raina and Ivy were like my first character, it was a good enough impression for me to want to play additional games. So you did a great job.
Well, that's good. Honestly, I don't know why more DMs just don't make slight changes to things, you know, on the fly. I mean, that's the whole job of the DM, you know, is, you know, if something's not fun, change the ruling on it so it is. I don't know. I mean, that's my number one rule going into every session, is just to make sure that the players have a fun time or a fun experience. You know, as far as if things are, you know, not balanced, or if I change a rule on the fly because I feel like it, that's my call to make. You know, so.
And you want my controversial opinion?
Sure.
I don't know if this will come up during the Ranger episode because I don't know if I'll be there or not, but I think that Beastmaster should replace, like, the features of Beastmaster should replace or augment favorite enemy and be part of the base class. And you should get to pick a subclass on top of having a beast companion.
I 100% agree. You know, I think if anything, like a Beastmaster Ranger should kind of like with a Circle of the Moon Druid, how being a Circle of the Moon Druid just increases your wild shape abilities, so you can be more powerful wild shapes. A Beastmaster Druid or a Beastmaster Ranger should just have access to higher CR beasts, or, maybe their beast should level up like I do with Ivy. Whereas if you're, say, like a Gloomstalker Ranger, you just have that CR1 beast, and that it stays that way. That way you still have a companion. It still can do something, but it's not the primary aspect of your subclass either, But
Yeah.
I don't know. Who'd we leave off on? I think we just
I
started.
think I was the only one who
First
went.
one.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the first question.
Let's go over to Rob. What's your favorite race, class, subclass to play?
All right, race is definitely human. As I said, I know how the human feels and stuff, so it's easier for me to roleplay that. Class is probably Bard. I really like Bards. Subclass is actually of a different class. My favorite subclass is the storm one for the cleric.
Oh, the
Tempest cleric.
Tempest domain.
Yeah. If I have to pick one that goes with the bard, it's probably the one that the College of Valor, because I like using bows, and the College of Valor allows you to use longbows, and you get 2 multi-attack with that class, which I think is the only subclass that gives bards a multi-attack.
It changes their bardic dice too, doesn't it?
You can use it for more things, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Gambit.
Also, before we move on to Gambit, I looked it up. The internet, as we know it, was created in 1983. So I was 5 years old, so it was around when I was in middle school. I just did not have access to it.
Okay, fun fact. There you go.
Yep.
I used to collect all those free AOL discs. Just to have them. Anyway, not getting on that tangent. Gambit, favorite race, Eladrin, class, wizard, subclass, bladesinger.
Yes.
All right, you guess thorns.
Alright, okay, tiny little mouse boys.
Yeah, mouse folk.
Fuck, I don't remember the name of the subclass, but Bard, whatever Thorn is.
College of Lore.
Lore Bards, yeah.
Yeah. Now, for the listeners, these answers are not mine and Donnie's. These are specifically for our characters. All right, starting with Ryan this time. 4th level, guys. If you could improve any stat in real life, or 2 stats half as much, which would you choose and why?
Well, don't you want to know my other answer?
Did I not ask you?
No, it's okay.
Oh shit! What's your favorite race, class, and subclass, Ryan? I'm gonna start writing this down. My mind has been.
You're fine. I have what? I have 2 humans. I have a Elis, which is distinctly different from a Tabaxi.
Dude, I love Simon.
And I also have a Tiefling and a stable full of characters. And one more that is redacted, and we'll figure that out eventually. I mean, I like the Tiefling, because who doesn't like free fire resistance, right? I'm liking Sorcerer, other than my 2-point dip into Wizard.
Which was a very strategic dip.
It was, but it's kind of shooting me in the leg, but it's fine. So I guess I can say Tiefling Sorcerer, but my favorite subclass hunts. I mean, I kind of like I like Hexblade. Haven't gotten to play a whole lot of it, but I like Hexblade. Warlock.
Okay.
Out of left field, but And then what was the next question?
So the next question is, if you could improve any stat in real life or 2 stats half as much, which would you choose and why?
I feel like I need my charisma to roll over. I am not always as smooth as I am on the Discord chat. And sometimes I'm not even on the Discord chat.
What?
Yeah,
Lies!
Sometimes when I
Lies!
talk, it's like falling down the stairs. But yeah, so probably charisma.
Okay. And you gave the why because you don't feel like you're smooth. You're a pretty smooth operator, Ryan. Just letting you know.
Well, I appreciate that, but it's not always the truth. But I appreciate that.
All right, let's jump over to Rob. If you could improve any stat in real life or 2 stats half as much, which would you choose and why?
I mean, do they have to be the 6
Yes.
D&D stats? Because motivation would be fine. I think that would solve all the rest of my problems. I just had to double my motivation.
I don't know what motivation would fall under the stats.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking of. I'm like, it doesn't seem to fit any of those. I guess half into Constitution and half into Charisma.
Okay. Any particular reason for those two?
Just because I don't want to go to the doctor. I wish I was just healthier in general for the Charisma or Constitution, and then Charisma. I would like to be better at talking to strangers so I can find myself a boyfriend.
Instead of just ogling at the delivery drivers through the door window.
Exactly.
Just answer the door in your underwear. It'll work.
Okay, Lex, what about you?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think I'm particularly good at any of those stats. On one hand, Constitution would be great to have a boost, but I don't think that's going to help me retroactively.
I don't know. Constitution always retroactively gives you HP if
Extra
you meet
health.
if you meet the bump.
I wouldn't say that I'm not undexterous. Is that too many negatives? I mean, I would like to be stronger. I'll add 1 to strength and probably 1 to con, just to get a little health boost.
All right. Donnie, Gambit.
Gambit. Well, if you're already great at something, why not be even greater?
Just
both points into intelligence.
Okay. I mean, Thorn would.
Definitely go charisma. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean,
You thought about Dex a little bit, but you ended up settling on charisma.
Yeah. Because there's no way he can reach Gambit as far as intelligence, and he's already stronger than Gambit. So
you really just wanted to tell everybody.
I did. little mouse boy is stronger than an Eladrin. Alrighty, that is everybody. I'm keeping track now. Ever since the Ryan debacle, and I skipped over him, I feel like trash now.
The incident.
Yeah, the incident.
Intimate issue.
Okay, so that was 4. Everybody's 4th level now. Yay!
Wow,
that was your ability score improvement. Just showed that. 5th level. Let's start with Rob on this one. In 3 sentences or less.
Oh boy.
What's your most epic moment from a game?
This one's hard.
This is one that
3.
took us a little while to.
Yeah.
to think of yesterday.
I think I'm going to go with the song that Elspeth came up with to convince the orcs that she was
Oh,
a
boy.
guide.
Yeah. Do you remember it? Because I'll let you sing it just this one time.
I don't.
Damn it.
Damn, what a shame. Okay, moving on. Now Rob's going to try to think of it so he can sing it before we move on past this question.
Yep.
Let's go to Ryan.
3 sentences, huh?
3 sentences. Most epic moment from a game. Can be any game that you've played in.
Any game that I've played in, huh?
Yeah.
How about the time that I used a magical microphone and an amplifier to convince the gods of Olympus to give me their iPhones
Oh my god, I remember that.
so that I could throw them into the lava and destroy them?
I'm going to need slightly more context on this.
Okay, so this was Lex's Dungeon World game
Okay.
in the Dungeon World system, and it was based on the book series Percy Jackson.
Okay.
And essentially, there were golden iPhones that were given to the gods of Olympus that were controlling them and making them not intervene in things. I'm a little.
They were the magical golden apples from mythology that I think they essentially caused chaos. They were gifts from Iris, or Iris, I think.
Yeah.
Eris, that was
Eris. They were causing chaos, but my bard, whose name I forgot, but it's like just a normal person name.
It's the son of Aphrodite.
Yeah, he basically created a megaphone and told them all that he needed to perform software updates so that they could all please hand their phone over.
You like crit on like a
I crit on
convincing
it,
them.
and they destroyed all the phone.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how many sentences that was, but
Well, I let you go over. You described it in 3 sentences, I think, originally, and then I wanted the more context. So, okay, Lex, what about you?
I can't even. We've been playing like all of our campaigns for several years now, and I know we've done some like truly badass things, and every single one of them is escaping me right now. Oh, this is hard.
I mean, you turn guys into trees a lot.
We do turn people into trees a lot.
Yeah, there is a tree in a Red Sun Coalition basement.
There is.
Yep.
I mean, it was pretty great to take out our first dragon after we nearly all died to the first one. That was pretty good, even though somebody did die, but I mean, you know,
F.
it happens. I guess it's nothing that any of my characters have done, but one of the things that I was really excited for was in the Halloween game that I ran, when you guys went to the movie theater and somebody set something on fire and nobody put the fire out, so all of the sprinklers started going off, which was something that occurred in the back of my mind could potentially happen multiple points along the campaign. And Webby was playing a Mogwai from Gremlins. So you were able to multiply every single turn, and that was probably one of my favorite moments in that campaign.
Yeah, I was playing the gremlin that had the little propeller hat and the bucket of popcorn and the 3D glasses. Oh man, I had so much fun with that character. Okay. That's Ryan, that's Lex, that's Rob. Marking these down.
I mean, I don't remember the whole song, but I do know that it had the line "Master of Geography" in there because that's what I kept saying from then on.
Yeah.
I put the title on the character sheet, "Master of Geography."
Gambit. What about you? Most epic moment.
The time the new party member walked into the room to find 11 of me.
Yeah. Okay. That is true. That did
He was
happen.
very impressed. Yes.
Well, wasn't going to go there.
Dropped.
Wasn't gonna go there, but I'm sure he was.
Thorn, I have two that were equally as impressive, I feel. Well, I have three, I guess.
One sentence each.
Okay, so first, I was eaten by a giant, and I polymorphed into a T-Rex and burst out of his torso. Second, I dimension doored above something. I don't remember what we were fighting. And then I polymorphed into a T-Rex and just fell and did damage when I landed on the guy.
Pretty sure that was a flying devil.
It was during the crossover game, because I was there for that as Elspeth.
Okay. And then, honestly, I think Thorn's most epic moment was when he got true polymorph and he changed into an adult red dragon for the first time. I think that's the first time Thorn's ever actually felt offensively powerful. Because Thorn is not an offensive character. He is a healer.
Yeah, that was the game we had at Gen Con.
That's the one that I
the
dive
crossover
bombed
session.
as the...
yeah, where he turned into something and fell from the
I think it was
sky.
a T-Rex.
Yeah, that was my go-to, is a polymorph into a T-Rex. Has the most HP.
Webby uses a lot of T-Rexes.
Yeah.
Oh, there was
Sure
also
do.
that time that we knocked him out before he even had a chance to attack.
You know, I was hoping
That was
that
pretty
one would
epic.
slide by. Yeah, Donnie, get this.
Wait, what?
Their
Okay.
party. I'll let Lex tell this story.
Oh gosh, I don't even know if I can do it justice. We basically managed. Did we pre-plan this?
You
I don't
had to
know.
have. I got one attack with a T-Rex.
We did a wall of thorns in a circle to close in the T-Rex so he couldn't leave the wall area. And then we did spike growth, so every time he walked, he would take damage. If he tried to get through the wall, he took additional damage, and he was slowed through this whole thing, so he basically just walked himself to death.
Yeah, I will say
And
Webby was
turn.
flabbergasted because I heard about this.
Yeah, yeah. One attack before my T-Rex died.
He killed himself
and
too,
since
didn't he?
then-
They
yeah.
made him kill himself, didn't
And
they?
then since then, I've been throwing very weird T-Rexes at them.
Well, we also kind of did that with those shadow mastiffs in the sewer.
Yep.
Or it was shadow mastiffs and the flail snails,
Yep.
where you just had one run up out of the dark, and then you were like doing some math, and you're like, it dies.
It
You're
does.
just like, oh, okay.
It would have
It just
died
runs
either
up
way.
and dies.
That's the thing, is it would have died either way that it had gone. So, all right. Which question was that? That was 5th. Everybody's 5th level now. Congratulations.
Some of you get extra attack.
Some of you get extra attack. That's right. It's the only thing notable that happens at 5th level. Spellcasters, you get 3rd level spells.
Nice.
6th level. Let's start with Lex on this one. Have any of your... Oh, no. I remember Apple's answer to this. Have any of your characters died in a game? If so, how?
Not outright. I mean, well, I guess outright.
Yeah, you
They came
did.
back once. None of my characters have officially made it to a graveyard. But Rainia has died in the Balagos fight in Faystar against Dragon. And Thorn brought them back. And Ivy. But I think that's the only time I've been resurrected.
That he did.
I think so, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think you've died otherwise.
Yeah, everybody else has been, alive.
Speaking of everyone else being alive, Ryan, what about you?
Well, see, I think Gil only died twice. I believe that he died by like 1 hit point when we were fighting that like magma golem in the sewer or whatever that thing was.
Oh, yeah.
When it exploded, I think it
Yeah.
knocked him out. But yeah, he tried his best in the Balagos fight, and he certainly made some decisions.
Yes, he did, which cost him his life.
Yeah.
Listen, for the listeners, it was almost a TPK. Let's just say that. Wouldn't
Very
have been my
close.
first, but Rob, have any of your characters died in the game, and if so, how?
Have they?
Jesus!
Have they?
Wait.
At first, I was like, no, I don't think Elspeth still's running around. Whatever. I don't think any of them died. And then I just remembered.
Actually, that adds a fourth one though, because Elspeth did die. So I had 4 characters die.
The rugs of smothering.
She got brought up to life though. Elspeth is the only one that got brought up to life. So Elspeth died to a rug of smothering. Tamara managed to get her and John's character to a place to resurrect them before the time ran out, before they could be revivified or whatever it was, because we got she did whatever to preserve our bodies so they could be revivified. So Elspeth died but came back to life. Trip was my demon character who was murdered by a devil. Webby controlled, of course. He was the DM. My first reflectionist committed suicide epically to try and help the civilians escape from the capital city of Cairn. He had a necklace of fireballs, and as the battle was turning bad, he just threw it directly at his feet and blew himself and all the orcs to pieces that were on the docks, so the ships could get away. And then the last one was a character I had in a different game with a different DM, where when he died, the DM was like, "Oh, here, just make a new character, and we'll keep going." In the same session, I was like, "No, this is not how I operate. I'm out," and I left the game.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I felt real bad about the trip thing too. You know me as a DM. Anytime a player dies, I tend to really beat myself up about it, regardless. And I know it happens. It's D&D. It's a game. This, that, and the other thing. But I just, it's how I am. But in addition to killing Trip, that whole fight consisted of Trip being unconscious, brought back to life with a healing spell, just so when it came around to the devil's turn again, the devil would notice that Trip was conscious and then spend his turn killing Trip again.
And always giving me 2 death save strikes every time.
Yeah. So, yeah, that one was rough.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Hard enemies, man.
There was a chance for Trip to come back with reincarnation, but Webby and I had done a role play before that of Trip being basically in heaven.
Life, yeah.
Yeah. And he basically got everything he wanted, so he was like, I don't want to go back. So yeah, even though I loved playing him, I'm like, no, he would not turn this down. He would stay here.
All right, Gambit, what about you?
No. Doesn't happen. Never happened to me.
Yeah, Thorn, same.
Thorn, tell him about the time Thorn died.
No, Thorn, listen, no.
Yeah, tell him about the time Thorn died.
Okay, fine. So, Thorn and Gambit were essentially best friends. And the way I played Thorn, or the way Thorn works, is when he heals people, and it's much more drastic when he brings people back to life. He was never taught how to properly do it, like from clerics or other bards or things like that. He's self-taught. Everything that Thorn does, he learned how to do on his own. So when he heals people or brings people back to life, he gives a little bit of his life essence to the people that he's bringing back. And it was aging Thorn at one point, and Gambit knew that eventually, a mousefolk only lives to be 30 or something like that. So eventually, Thorn was going to end up healing himself to death. And Gambit was unconscious one time, and I ran over and I cast a heal spell, and then I instantly, quote-unquote, fainted and died, having healed Gambit. So when Gambit woke up, he thought I died, and then he went ballistic on everything that was around. So, Listen, all right. It was
Yeah, there's almost collateral damage on that.
It was a joke.
Right.
All right. We're all level what?
6?
6 now. Yeah.
I remember when I was level 6.
All right. So here's one. We'll start with Ryan. Seems
Okay.
like the first one on this list. If you could learn any one cantrip in real life, which would you choose and why?
All right, hold on. I mean, the easy answer is guidance, right? I don't think that's the one. Hold up.
The answers that we did yesterday were unanimous across the board.
Were they?
Yeah.
What, you guys all said acid splash, right?
No.
Let's see. I mean, gonna be honest, probably prestidigitation.
Okay.
All right, well, it's
Now,
still unanimous.
Is there a
else
reason
said?
why?
Sometimes I have anxiety about smells when I don't know where they come from. And it's weird, like dipping into me and everything. But sometimes I have anxiety about some smells, and I can just make them smell like something else.
Yeah. 100%. Everything
But
smells like
also
bacon.
clean things and
Yep.
whatnot. So yeah,
And dry things.
hell yeah, that's very useful. I don't like being wet.
Like when you stepped with your sock into that.
Oh god,
Could you
Yes,
prestidigitated
exactly.
your sock dry again? You know?
exactly.
All right. Lex, what about you?
Well, prestidigitation would be pretty helpful for a dog who doesn't like taking baths.
Yep.
But like, there's also fun things, like
but
shillelagh
you
or
can-
like sacred or what's the like all like these damage ones that you could do. Shocking grasp, anyone?
No.
No?
Let me try to sell you on prestidigitation, though.
All right, your pitch.
So you're thinking like, okay, these fun ones that do some sort of damage to people or things. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
prestidigitation you can use to do psychological damage to people because
Okay.
you can wait until, let's say, let's use the name Barrick for no particular reason.
Okay.
Okay, you wait for Barrick to, they look hungry, right? It's midday, they haven't eaten anything yet. Now you start making the smell of bacon or cake or something waft by him, so he gets more and more hungry. Then, finally, lunchtime comes. He races to the fridge. He gets his sandwich or whatever it is he's eating. He's about to take a bite. You use prestidigitation. You make that bite taste like garbage. Like pure, foul, hot garbage. And then he gets sick of it. You just torture people with this.
You're not wrong. I guess that could cause some damage. Yeah, all right. Oh, prestidigitation.
I'm just sitting here thinking how you could make this like a fart smell in an elevator. You're talking about full on like gaslighting people.
Okay, Rob. Did I sell you on prestidigitation?
Yeah. You sold me on prestidigitation.
Yes. All right, Rob.
Why are you even asking me? You just went through all of the things you could do with prestidigitation. Like, why even ask me the question?
Well, because you might not care about those things.
The only other one I was considering was mending, because it would be nice to be able to, like, fix your car and shit without having to go places. But no, I would also take prestidigitation for the fact that I could eat so much better. Like, I could just drink water and make it taste like soda. I could eat celery and make it taste like
That's
pot
true.
roast.
That's true. That's why I don't eat healthy food, because it tastes like crap.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that Gambit and Thorn also prestidigitation.
Green Flame Blade.
No, you're fired.
Blame.
We've been unanimous across the board with this. With this
Prestidigitation.
cantrip.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine.
It's one of the best cantrips in the game.
Oh, that was what I picked.
Doesn't
Donnie
get utilized enough. All right, Rob is away from his computer. We're on to level 8. Okay, so we'll start with Lex on this one. We put the little hash mark there. Boom. Are there any particular stats that you usually take a high or a low score in, and why? So, like, if you're
That's a
building
good question.
character.
Well, I don't tend to play a lot of characters that utilize intelligence. Obviously, they have to be able to speak and stuff like that. But even if they couldn't, it's not the end of the world. There's just ways to get around it. I usually ignore intelligence. That's usually my lowest stat. Most of my characters prioritize Dex or Wisdom. Although, the Thri-Kreen that I'm created does have a higher charisma than I normally give anyone. So, I guess, I don't know, that was a lot of answers. That was almost every stat. But prioritize Dex and Wisdom, low ball, charisma, and intelligence, except for that one instance where I actually used charisma.
Alrighty. Ryan, what about you?
Well, I mean, it really depends on the character. I always go, obviously, full on into the primary stat. And then I like to put, like, my second or third highest as con. And then my third usually goes to wisdom, just because of the abundance of saving throws.
Right.
So I guess I would also typically somewhat ignore intelligence. But depending on the character, I might put my, like, 8 into strength.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It really does. Like, if I am not using a weapon to attack, we don't play with equipment weight, so I have no reason to go into strength.
Right. You know, well, while we're waiting for Rob, anyway, I do have a question. Do you guys find it essentially a plus or a minus that we don't use things like equipment weight?
It's a benefit for me. I don't like keeping track of weight and stuff and
Okay.
feeling like I have to throw things out or sell them. Like, that's why we have, like, a whole bag of, like, magic items just not sold. We're pack rats.
Yep.
Yeah. There are certain realism things that I wouldn't mind playing with, like injuries and whatnot, but I don't know. I feel like it's dumb to have to, like, keep all of your money at your house or in the bank and have to go to the bank to get the money to go shop. It's just like, what if you're not in that town? I mean, obviously in our game, quote, the debit cards or whatever. But like, for people who don't do that, they fully immerse in the realness. This is 1,100 pounds of gold. Like, what if you're in another town? Then you're just poor.
Yeah.
Like, you can't put all of it in the bag of holding. Only a little bit. I don't know. So, yeah, TLDR, I wouldn't mind my hand being cut off, but don't make my coins work.
Okay, so Liz wants her hand cut off. Gotcha.
Well, honestly, if I'll let you in on this because the session has passed. If she didn't succeed on the last roll, she would have asked Ryder to cut her hand off.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Jesus.
Damn.
I mean, she would have gotten it healed, of course. But, yeah, she has the apple. Like, she has the apple, but she would have asked Ryder to cut her hand off.
Yeah.
Or you could have had a second list.
Oh,
wait, so if I cut the hand off,
no,
and I
new list will not grow from a list hand.
No, wait, hold on.
No, you are not a worm.
Hear me out. If I cut the hand off and I hold it next to the other hand and I eat the apple, can I make a crab claw reattached to my other?
Oh my god, that's horrific. I don't think that's how that would work. I might be willing to bend the rules.
Well, I'm not going to do that, so don't worry.
You have to defeat the entire purpose of cutting your hand off.
Yeah.
All right, Rob. Let's see. Are there
Oh,
any
God.
particular stats that you usually take high or low scores in, and why?
Yes. But before we get to that, that just reminded me of the thing where you had a bell for a hand.
I hate you.
Hello.
Remind me to tell them my fucking board game.
Your bell hand story.
No, not even the story, just my board game record.
I heard you don't roll well.
Yeah, usually strength and dex. Like I always usually take a low strength and a high dex because you could do so much more with dex than you can with strength. Like dex is usually strength is almost always my dump stat because with dex you can use with weapons like you can with strength. Dex also adds to your AC. It adds to your initiative. It's what you use most to dodge and reduce the damage of spells. You can escape grapples with either strength or dex. Like dex just has so much more benefit to it than strength, in my opinion. So those are usually I dump strength.
I like you.
Okay. Gambit, I'm assuming your dump stat is strength, seeing as though you're a weak boy.
Look here.
What?
Why do I need strength?
I mean, that's
true.
I mean, you make a point.
If I'm good at what I do, I don't need strength. If I need my strength, I've made a mistake.
I do know that it's very class dependent too, obviously, because obviously when you're building a class, you want to put points into their primary stat, whatever that might be. So if you're a strength based character, you want high strength.
I mean, there's never really a reason to go strength, though. I mean, unless you want to use a...
Listen, you tell Jax that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if you want two-handed weapons, that's one of the real
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Unless you want two-handed weapons.
Yeah.
Otherwise, an option that's versatile.
No, Jax uses a great axe. It's a great axe. But yeah, Thorn's dump stat I think is intelligence, and then strength. High charisma, obviously, for Thorn. Okay, so we'll move this along. Real quick, also, Lex and Ryan, I suck at board games, apparently. I really didn't think I'd be that bad. But man, we had Donnie and Devin visit for a week, and we played a bunch of different board games, and my record is literally 0-12 or some shit. The last board game we played, it was me, Devin, and Rob playing together to beat the board game. We still lost.
Well, what games were you playing that you're bad at?
You name it.
We came in second on Red Dragon Inn like twice.
Yeah, that's a really fun game. If you guys haven't played Red Dragon Inn, it's fantastic. It's all about, if you're a D&D party, what you do in your downtime. So you spend a lot of time at the tavern, either gambling or ordering drinks for people, things like that. It's fantastic.
I mean, your team won Betrayal at House on the Hill. You just got turned to stone before it was over.
Yeah, I still consider that a loss.
Yeah, but you could have been
saved within the next 2 turns.
I became a lawn ornament.
I was literally a room over from you.
All right, we're gonna move on. I have to start with Lex on this one.
Okay.
Level 9. Do you have a favorite dice set or a particular favorite die?
Okay. So I do have a favorite dice set. They are, I think, the first set of dice that I actually bought. They're like this opalescent, like gemstone-y look with like gold letters. They're a little hard to read, but they're just so pretty. So that's my favorite ones, but I don't get to roll them because we do a lot of digital dice rolling. But those are probably my favorite dice. And we like to, we tried making them, but without a pressure pot, it's a little difficult to make them accurate. But yeah, that's my answer.
Okay.
Did I miss a part of it, though?
No, the second part of it is, if you didn't have a favorite dice set, do you have a favorite die?
Oh.
So,
not the D4. I hate rolling D4s.
I hate stepping on them.
Yeah, that's considerably worse.
So Ryan, what about you? Do you have a favorite dice set? or particular favorite die?
Set. Well, like we mentioned, I don't get to roll my dice a lot for things that matter. I do roll them during our sessions. But I've got a couple sets that I really like. I have a navy blue with copper letters and like a red and black swirly one. And I have a set for list that's just clear with like glitter in it.
Oh, like ice?
Yeah. So those are all cool. I mean, I don't get to use them a whole lot, but they're cool.
Okay, what about you, Rob?
I also have a couple. I have my first set ever of purple plastic ones that I've used. They're pretty lucky. They roll pretty high for me. I got a set for Vamp that's all D10s, but they're white with like red veins going through them. And then I got some purple metal ones from a certain someone, and I have these sparkly ones that I got from somebody else in this call. Those are my 4 favorites.
All right. Gambit, what about you? You got a favorite dice set?
Yeah, the really big red one that lights up when you hit a 20.
How often do you see it light up?
I feel like that particular one was more than others.
I don't know. Now you should start rolling that one more often.
I don't own it.
Oh, all right. That's fair.
I think there was
But
a
I
Kickstarter
don't
for
need-
that, though.
I don't need dice. I'll make you all roll.
That's true. Thorn, I mean, he's got a special set of D10s that he has a hard time not rolling a bunch of 10s with. And then, I don't know, all my dice. I don't know. I don't really have a favorite. The ones that I don't like are the ones that start rolling poorly, and I end up throwing, somewhere on my desk and losing track of them.
You can't roll low on any D10, as was your downfall in that game where you had to roll low with the D10s.
No. That was the first game we played. What was that one called? Betrayal on...
No, that was the Mansions of Madness.
Mansions of Madness.
Which, technically, you were the only ones left alive, so I guess you can count that one as a win, but you don't.
No, the card legit said everyone loses.
It said everyone loses, but you're the only one that didn't die.
Yeah. All right. Racing on here, 10th level. Ryan, how would you explain D&D to someone who knows nothing about it?
I have read before the phrase group hallucination.
Okay. I like that.
But
theater of the mind.
I have also learned recently, and I don't know how all of you perceive, but when I read a book, I can more or less visualize what's happening. It might not be like a crystal clear picture, but I can see things happening, I just learned that my brother, when he reads, he sees the words.
Okay.
And that's very interesting to me. He cannot visualize. Like, even when if he were to use his imagination, he sees the words.
Yeah, I have a friend like that. He told us that too, and I was like, that sounds really weird. And it's like, yeah, I guess I can't imagine things, like pictures. I was like, okay.
So I guess for most people, it would be group hallucination.
All right.
But I still like that.
Lex, what about you?
It is sitting around and telling fantasy stories with your friends. Pretty much how I explain it.
Rob.
Being a part of a fantasy novel where you can affect the outcome.
Like a choose-your-own-adventure story, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Gambit.
I would say it's theater of the mind with dice rolls determining outcomes.
All right. I think my answer was roll shiny rocks and stab things or die.
I mean,
Also not wrong.
it's a very Rose answer of you.
Oh, I love Rose. Anyway. Let's start with Rob on this one. 11th level. Do you watch, read, listen to any D&D content online? And is there anything that you would want to recommend to others?
I mean, I listen to our stuff, obviously, but most of that has now died off. I kind of sometimes watch Critical Role, but it starts to, because there's so much content. It's after a while I'm just like, oh, I'm sick of this. I used to listen to Dungeons and Randomness, but I haven't listened to them in years. So the only one I really would recommend is the one that I'm in, that is on John's channel on Linstead DM on Twitch, where we do the Rock of Care. It's the only one that's still going. You could. I would recommend ours, but there's nowhere anyone can listen to them. So yeah.
Right. You lost me at John. All right, Lex, what about you?
So, as far as like online versions I've seen is actually Critical Role. But like Rob, I get a little I don't know if you get overwhelmed, but I get overwhelmed with how much there is that I just kind of stop watching.
Mm-hmm.
Other TTRPGs, I love what they do on Hyper RPG. Kolok 1991 is just such a good show, but it's like psychological horror a little bit. But just the storytelling is so good, and they're just so good with like their like what they do for like their sets and stuff like that. It's like mind blowing that live. My other one of their favorite shows that they did was based on the Rat Queens, which is a comic series that I also love. That's actually how I found out. That was the first time that I saw TTRPGs online, was watching Rat Queen. And that was also just so good. But you can check them out on Twitch and on YouTube under Hyper RPG.
All right. What about you, Ryan?
So I'm a little weird here. I can't really watch play series. I just, for some reason, I just cannot stay interested being a spectator in someone else's game. And it's nothing against them. I just can't do it. But I do watch, like, I watch videos about, like, making campaigns and ways you could make campaigns better, and, like, here's some magic items, whatnot. Once in a while, a video by the D&D log, or whatever pops up on YouTube.
I know occasionally you watch videos of the crazy, insane things that then you send me so I can pick apart.
I haven't watched that guy in a while, but yeah.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you just made me realize that there aren't play ones, but I do. Jenny D and Mr. Rex are D&D shows that aren't play that I watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Donnie? Gambit?
Well, I haven't written my memoirs yet. Thorn does like telling stories about what we've done.
That is true.
And as soon as that asshole Tired Hydra wants to, he can publish my memoirs.
Oh, the Tired Hydra. Yeah, Thorn likes Critical Role. And he loves to read books. Thorn's an avid book reader, so he owns the Dragonlance Chronicles. Highly recommends those. Good books. My pen just ran out of ink. No. Now I'm never going to remember who I called on. That was 11th. Alright, here's one that might require a little bit of thought. At least it did for us. Start with Ryan. If you could choose any one feat in real life Or if you could take any one feat in real life, which would you
In
choose
real
and
life.
why?
Okay, hold on. I just need to pull up the list just for the sake of them being up. Let's see, because I mean, there's some good ones here. It would be very nice to have Prodigy. Just saying, or Skilled.
Just
One of those two.
Just to be better at doing multiple things.
Yeah, I have trouble picking up new skills sometimes. So,
All right.
just pick up a feat. Suddenly, you're good at it. Bam.
All right. Lex, what about you?
What does lucky feat do?
If you fail at something or if you dislike the outcome, you can up to 3 times, I think, a day.
Yep.
You can re-roll and hope for a better outcome.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'd probably take lucky.
All right. That's a solid one. Rob.
I would probably take Fey Touched.
Oh yeah?
Okay.
I bet you would after walking in on that.
Jesus.
Yeah, it doesn't say what the Fey touch me with.
Is there a reason why you would take that one?
I mean, just because you get to, I would be able to have Misty Step, so I could just, like, you're like Rob Dog, I could just bamf through the door and back again. Like, done. And
Yeah, but
like,
doesn't it only allow you to Misty Step like once per rest?
yeah, but I mean, it's not like I have spell slots as a person, so.
I mean, that's true.
True.
Because it also gives you one other first level spell, but I don't have spell slots, so I don't know that I'd be able to use that.
You get to cast that one for free once a day.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, once you cast either of these spells, you can't cast it again. So yeah, so then I'd have to see what other. But it comes with that and another spell. So.
Doesn't it add that to your spell list if you already have a spell list? Like whatever spell you take, you can add it to your spell list.
Yeah,
Or is that?
You just can only but you get a
Yeah, you can cast it. You can cast each one without spending a spell slot, but then after that, you have to spend spell slots to cast them.
But you do get the spell you pick, your first level spell. You do get that added to your spell list. Okay.
But you also get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so that shapes my answer a little bit.
Gambit.
I'd probably say, what's it called? Magical Adept? Is that what that was called?
Magic
Initiate. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay.
And I would probably try to get my hands on a healing spell to add to my spell slots.
Cure Wounds or Healing Word?
Which one's the bonus?
That's Healing Word.
Healing Word.
Thorn would take Mobile.
Shit.
Yeah, he'd become even faster. I like the idea of. I think it's Mobile that allows you to just use 5 feet of your movement to stand up instead of half your movement. So
No.
That's not that one?
No. It's increase your speed by 10 feet. When you use the dash action, difficult terrain does not cost extra movement, and when you make a melee attack against a creature, you don't provoke opportunity attacks.
Yeah, that's the important one. So
Make the fast boy even faster, and if he swings at you, you can't hit him back.
Alright.
Fair.
Everybody, we're almost to the level that you guys are at in the mainline campaign.
Oh, hell.
We're approaching it. So let's start with, who do we start with that time? Ryan?
Yeah.
Let's start with Rob this time. 13. If you could choose any one spell to be able to cast once per day in real life, which would you choose and why? And we've removed the wish spell from the list.
That was going to be my answer.
Obviously, that's everyone's fucking answer. That's why we remove it.
Then why don't you remove prestidigitation?
Because that's a cantrip.
Yeah,
The wish spell is literally the most powerful thing that you could do, and you can only cast it once per day anyway. So we've removed the wish spell to broaden the answers of this one. Is the silence mean you're thinking?
There's like a billion spells, dude.
I mean, how long you been playing D&D for?
I've never gotten past like 5th level spells.
Oh, man. Oh, that's right. Ryder's a half caster.
I've also never played a full caster, so I don't even know the full list.
Well, just know that if Wish was available, you probably would take a Wish.
I disagree. I'm looking for the name of the spell that I'm thinking of, but I disagree.
Well, you know what?
I hope that it's...
So, Rob, you're thinking and looking over a spell list, I'm guessing. I'm guessing that Ryan, Lex, you both are doing the same?
Oh, Ryan's scrolling. I'm just trying to think about what would I like in real life that would be useful, and is there a D&D spell that would fit that?
Okay. Well, then, while you guys are thinking, let's just get Gambit and Thorn out of the way. Gambit, what is one spell that you wish you could cast once per day?
Animate objects.
No, we had a deal. I'll take those slots away.
Okay, rethinking answer. Loading. Something I don't already have, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Meteor Swarm.
Okay, that's a good one. Oh man, my answer was gonna be this, but Thorn literally just took this spell.
Oh.
I was gonna say mass polymorph. I think that'd be fun. Just once per day, drive through a city and just change 10 people into T-Rexes for an hour and just leave. It's like, okay, you deal with that.
I can just see Thorn taking invulnerability and becoming a pit fighter.
Gee, I don't know. Thorn. This is gonna kind of be a BS the answer, but lightning bolt, because he sees Gambit do it all the time.
Look here. We both know it's animate objects.
No, he won't ever do that.
Because I did it too much?
Yes.
You gotta show all your parties at least once in the sessions. At least one time.
I'm gonna go through and recap. If you are not ready, that's fine. But Rob, do you have one yet?
I think shape change.
It's a solid one. Solid.
Yes, it is.
Especially with me as a DM.
Well, I thought this was in real life.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's real life.
You'd have to have seen it before, right?
It's real life with my headcanon. So, like, if you wanted to turn into a Merilith, let's say, then you could turn into a Merilith that has the 6 swords in her inventory already.
Yeah, but don't you have to have seen it before, though? Like, so if it was real life, you wouldn't get that kind of thing?
Well,
yeah, but I could change into other people.
That's true. There's definitely other uses.
Yeah. Lex, do you have one yet?
So, thinking about real life application, there's nothing that I hate. Well, there are a lot of things that I hate, but I really, really, really dislike driving.
Yeah.
So, anything that could be like teleportation or the one where you walk through trees, like any of those that, or even if it was like true polymorph and you can turn into a dragon and fly home for an hour, like I don't know how long that one lasts, but
well, if you concentrate
long enough to get you wherever you need to go.
Yeah, that was the tough one we talked about yesterday, because if you, assuming that no one else in the world has like powers, like spells and stuff, if you accidentally concentrate too long on true polymorph, you become that thing permanently.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's no one who's going to be around to be able to dispel that, to bring you back to normal.
Well, just have like a name tag or like one of those like medical cards that it's like, if I'm a dragon, then that means that my spell has gone horribly. Please get me a cleric.
Yeah. But yeah, teleportation is a great one because you never have to fly again. You just teleport or tree strike, or travel via plants. But like, you just have to try to make sure that you keep in mind that you can do it once per day. So you get
one place where you can't get home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that also. So then maybe also, I might do one of the polymorphs more because that also has more practical application. Because I don't always leave my house. I could just decide to be a dog and hang out with Yeti.
Yeah, 100%.
That's my answer.
That
I want to be a dog and hang out with my dog.
That was my answer yesterday too. So I could be a bear.
Hell yeah.
Technically, I'm looking at shape change. It says you must have seen the sort of creature at least once. So does that mean I can change into anything I've seen on TV?
That's my guess.
Because I could also change into things that don't exist in real life that way.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Well,
I think technically we. No, I don't think you. I don't remember if Gambit learned how to do stuff by looking in books, but
I think Austin let us do it one time and said that he wasn't going to let us do it all the time, but he thought it was a good idea.
Well,
but he wanted to be cheesed.
he let me true polymorph into a Merilith so that you could see what a Merilith was, so you could then shape change into a Merilith.
Yeah, he let us learn. One of us learned one of our forms from a book, and he literally gave it. Like I said, he said it's like you can do it this once, but after this, it ain't happening.
Ryan, what about you? 1 spell per day.
So I was going to say either fabricate or creation.
Oh God, fabricate! That would be a good one too.
Probably more so creation than fabricate, because creation you can just turn, the air basically into rocks, gems, whatever. So I feel like that would probably be pretty lucrative. And whereas with fabricate, you can't make any high quality items, but you can make items.
Yeah, but have you seen the price of lumber these days?
Yeah.
You could just open up a lumber yard and make bank.
So yeah, with creation, you can make bank on lumber. With fabricate, you could probably run a pretty good mid-level store. But honestly, I have trouble driving long distances without having to slap myself awake. So probably teleport.
All right.
Just ride on my dragon.
That sounds cool.
You know what? You guys could combo it, and Lex could take True Polymorph, and Ryan could take Dispel Magic.
I just thought Dispel Magic?
Yeah, that way you could pop Lex out of True Polymorph form if she accidentally concentrates on it, longer than needed.
How about I also take True Polymorph so that I can then polymorph into something that has Dispel Magic, but then also use it otherwise?
Or you could both take teleport, and then you have a way to get there and back on the same day.
Oh, see, there you go.
Or you could just take a day trip and just hang out there for the day and then come back the next day.
Yeah.
There's so many options.
All right. What level are you guys in, the game I run for you guys? Are you 14?
I think we're 14.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are about to be the same level.
Woo! And it was only took however long this call was, and not 2.5 years.
An hour and a half. This is actually taking longer than I thought it would.
Hey, it's a good time.
We got good answers.
So we'll start with Lex on this one. We're going to go through that little drawing of mine. There we go.
I ran out of Dr. Pepper.
14.
Oh no, your health.
Oh, yeah. Lex, in 3 sentences or less, what's your most epic fail from a game?
Oh, okay. Okay, it probably wasn't really an epic fail, but it was very, anticlimactic, and I thought that it was going to work, but it didn't. In the Ivar White Dragon fight, I wanted to use an immovable rod to keep him grounded. So the only way that I could think to get close was to summon these giant owls that could fly into his throat and activate the immovable rod so he couldn't move or else he'd get stabbed in the throat. Only they died before they could activate the rod. So not only was I out all my owls,
Yep.
and it didn't work.
It was a good plan, though. It was a good thought.
There were other alternatives, but
When you have an owl that has 12 hit points or something like that, fly into a dragon's mouth right before he's about to ice breath.
Yeah, not a great plan.
All those owls had a very bad day. Ryan, what about you?
Well, I want to give an honorable mention to we didn't fully 100% think out Plan 2 before trying to execute it. So rest in peace to Plan 2.
Was this the
but-
staff plan?
Plan
I
2
think so.
was to take the staff that turns into a 5-foot wide tree
Yeah.
and shove it up the ass of a Rakshasa and activate it so that he would explode.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he protected his ass a little too well. Anyways.
That's because it's everyone's weak point. It's the weakest point on everybody.
That may or may not have been inspired by the fan theory that Ant-Man was going to fly up Thanos' ass and turn back and blow him apart.
Oh, God.
Anyways. The epic fail, I guess, was more of a fail than a character fail, but Gil drew 7 cards from the deck of illusion instead of fighting.
That's yeah.
Instead of putting his 2 bags of holding inside of each, he just was summoning harmless illusion.
All right, Rob. What about you?
I thought of another epic good moment while I was thinking.
Yeah, we're
which,
not on that question anymore, Rob.
I know, but can I bring it up or
Still
no?
want to know.
Fine.
It was Ryder thinking to use the marvelous pigments to create a hole down to Ivar's treasure to the ice.
True.
Yeah.
A lot of money in there.
But the epic fail, I guess it would be in that first game I played of D&D where we were doing 4th edition. My bard picked up a magical, like a thing from an enemy. It was a lockbox, and not even thinking about traps, I just unlocked it, and I got pricked with a needle, which had white sand poison, which was slowly turning his blood to sand, and he almost died from it. He had to be placed into stasis for a while, and I played his sister while they looked for a cure.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I have an epic fail for you, Rob, that actually led to another question that we've already answered, and that's if one of your characters had died. With your, I think it was a rogue that decided to try to go up against me and Donnie, or me and Devin.
Oh yeah, I wasn't thinking of one-shots.
Oh.
But yeah, he ended up as a snake inside a safe in the ocean, so I guess that was an epic fail.
Yep. Gambit, do you have an epic fail moment?
I sure do.
Every
For some
time you
reason-
die?
Oh, well, yep.
Whoop.
You nailed it. I don't even need to tell a story now.
No,
For some reason, one of the mage schools decided to send one of their wizards to attack me in the middle of a war with demons to test me or some shit. He totally whooped my ass.
Yep.
Totally whooped my ass. But I think I approached the fight wrong.
Also, Rob Dog.
Yeah, Misty Step doesn't work. No.
Yeah.
I use my own feet like a sucker.
Thorn. I think I had a hard time thinking of an epic fail for Thorn.
He's just too good.
I mean, in game, there wasn't really anything. There is a part of his backstory. I guess I'll mention that and whatnot. Where he did have a love interest that he was killed in front of him. And at the time, he did not have the capability of healing her or bringing her back. That was his most epic fail moment, I suppose. Which is why he's probably so full of just healing spells now. Had nothing to do with the fact that he was built to heal for a party of like 9.
Jesus.
I have one for Thorn. It wasn't really a fail, but it was like an epic waste, I guess.
Oh, God.
When Elspeth killed Brossi with his Chaos Arrow, and then you pledged to Cord to bring him back, but the Chaos Bolt would have brought him back at the end of the day anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I will tell you, Lex and Ryan, my original answer for this was in Rob's Misthaven game that he runs for us. I play a turtle, or a tortle, wizard, and we were fighting some vampires, and I polymorphed myself into a T-Rex because I was getting low on HP, and one of the vampires turned into a swarm of bats.
No, just summoned a swarm of bats.
Oh.
They were just regular bats.
Well, anyway, one bat attacked me and hit, and I failed my Constitution save, so it popped me out of T-Rex form.
Oh no.
Yeah, by a bat.
Hey, I have one. It's combined Britta.
It's what?
It's a combined epic fail between Ryder and Britta.
Okay.
Yeah, it's when Ryder used Wabbajack on Britta and a cannon burst out.
Yeah.
I don't consider that a failure. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you've learned. You
She
learned from that
volunteered,
experience.
so...
Okay, so 15th level. That was everybody. Yeah. 15th level, we'll start with Ryan. Have you ever played with or created any homebrew content? That's obviously a yes.
Yes. I make common magic items on Simon to give as gifts to party members. I have been dabbling here and there and making some subclasses.
I mean, Simon alone is technically a homebrewed content, is he not?
This is true, but I didn't make it.
Right.
Well,
the question is, have you ever played with or created?
Oh yeah, I mean, I like homebrew. Within the confines of, am I going to drive the DM nuts by doing this? And if the answer is no, or if the answer is yes, then there's times when I'm making characters, and it happened for the most recent character that I created that we haven't played yet. I was just looking at D&D Beyond. I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, I don't want to play any of these. Like, it was just, my brain was just like, these are all boring. Like, I don't want to play any of these races. I don't want to play any of these classes. Gigantic Pinterest. It's like, I don't want to play any of these either. So then I just went back to my original idea. But I do like homebrew. I made one today.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, I like that one. And I made another one last week. I'm starting to make some stuff.
All right. Lex, what about you?
I generally try to keep my classes and abilities and stuff like that within the what's released for D&D, or at least like UA or whatever. I do. I am using a homebrew class for a character that is not in any game yet. Not a class.
The
race. But I don't know. I generally don't use it. I would like to make like items and stuff like that. I just can't think about like it's too overwhelming to think of like full classes and like that. But items and stuff, that's a lot of fun. I like drawing swords. So drawing swords is fun. I'll make my own swords and stuff.
I mean, Rainy has like 50% homebrew.
Yeah, but it's not my homebrew. But I guess she's technically still using homebrew.
Ivy's kind of homebrew, and then your druids.
Oh yeah, the druid circle is completely Webby made up.
I know you only have like, but like, yeah.
So I guess the answer is yes, but sparingly.
Rob. The answer
Never.
is yes. Never. Bullshit.
Never. Never have, never will.
Okay, Rob.
Oh, boy.
More temp HP for you.
I honestly don't think in the time that you made the characters or played the characters, I don't recall that you've played anything that's not homebrewed, Rob.
Wraith is the only one that is not homebrew. But that game is ended.
Yeah,
he was just a regular swashbuckler. But yeah, he was the only one. Even and a couple one-shots. But Elspeth was a UA type of monk.
Yep.
Ryder is completely homebrew class.
Trip was.
Quentin was also a reflectionist. Yeah, and then for the games I run, almost all of my NPCs are homebrew classes. Like there's 3 different ones in Misthaven. Alexander's a homebrew. Will is a homebrew.
Alexander.
And
We are level 6, and there were like 98 NPCs in that campaign. Rob is very prolific.
hmm but yeah, there's and then I use a lot of homebrew magic items too. And I made up 2 I've made up 2 cleric domains. Complete domains. Yeah, I do a lot of homebrew stuff.
All right. Thorn's short answer is what the fuck's homebrew? Gambit, what about you?
Oh yeah, and absolutely items, Super Saiyans. I mean races. Yeah,
See, Thorn doesn't.
and I've heard of a really gnarly Dragonborn that
Oh,
might
yeah,
have a
that's right.
homebrew class,
That's right.
subclass.
All right, 16. Now you guys have surpassed your characters. Ryan, do you usually prefer to take ability score improvements or feats as you level up?
Yes. So I know we talked about this during the Artificer episode, and I've talked about this during that campaign. There are some classes where you cannot find a feat that will help you. Artificer is one of them. However, sometimes you need the stat boost, but so far I have been relatively lucky on starting stats to where I only really need the first 2 ability score improvements. But like Simon is just he ended up taking tough just because like not tough, the other one for extra health.
Resilient?
No, maybe it is tough.
Yeah, I think tough's the one that gives you the extra health.
The extra health, yeah, because I just couldn't find anything else that was like, this is really going to help you. That would, dissuade me from taking stat points. So it depends, I guess is my answer.
All right, Lex.
I generally take the ability stat increase. However, if I feel like my character the feats, and I might pick 1 for the character. 2 is like the absolute max. But yeah, generally I take the stat.
All right, Rob.
My answer is also it depends. Like if their main stats are maxed out, then I'll take feats. Like Ryder, his main stats are pretty much maxed. I could take some other things like that aren't too important to him, but I usually like to take the feats instead.
All right, Gambit. Gambit's gone. He's dead. He died.
Sorry, I love feats.
That is also Thorn's answer. Thorn is a feat fiend.
I think there are certain housekeeping rules you should probably take care of before you go super feat heavy.
And don't forget, everyone, ask your DM if you can use Sharpshooter and Great Weapons Master at the same time so that you can hit people with a longbow, because technically it works.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to 17th level. You know what? We're gonna do this in reverse order. So 17th, if you could cast Wish once in real life, what would you wish for? I have to answer as Thorn. Shit. Man, I don't know. I gotta come back to me, I guess. The Gambit.
What would I wish for?
I remember what me as Webby chose. I just chose to be able to talk to animals for the rest of my life. Like, just to understand all animals. Like Dr. Doolittle this.
What would I wish for? I don't know, to meet Mister again.
All right.
On better terms.
All right. Rob, what would you wish for in real life if you had one use of the wish spell?
Hmm. I think I would wish to be like a wizard or a bard in real life with their magical powers.
Okay.
There it is.
Oh. Lex.
Mine's actually kind of similar. And this could go honestly horribly wrong, but it's fine. Wish for magic for everyone so that the world was filled with more magic and you could do more with it.
Oh.
It could go so bad, but it could also go so
bad people
good.
out there wielding magic now.
But you also have a bunch of good people with magic.
That is true. Time to get into the insurance game, because there's going to be a lot of collateral damage.
Yep.
Man, I'm going to be the one with the practical answer, huh?
All right, go ahead, Ryan.
That's practical.
Okay, according to this really long post about gold piece on Reddit, apparently having worked out the value of silver based on English shillings during medieval times, apparently 1 gold is approximately 104 American dollars.
Okay, for a gold
That means
coin.
that using the wish spell, you could create $2,060,000.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but you could just wish for $1 billion because you can only cast it once anyway.
yeah,
I
but
just wish for a credit card that never empties.
But see, we've talked about this. If you're not specific, that money is going to come from somewhere, and someone is going to become $1 billion.
I mean, fair.
Take it from someone that won't notice, like
Exactly.
who bought Twitter.
Yeah.
But then you have to specify that in the wish then. But I think it would be nice to just have a cushion.
So this is only going to make sense to some people, everybody on the call, but probably none of the listeners. Thorn's answer in character is if he only had a one-time use of his wish spell, he would obliterate every single Red Sun Coalition member on the face of the planet.
Yeah, that's fair.
He would just Thanos them. They'd just all turn to dust and fly away.
Okay.
So, he's not.
Can I change my answer now?
No. You're still.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. I would probably wish for Faystar to be in the Feywild.
Screw you! No! You can't do that.
Why not? I know a lot of people that would be pissed about it. One of them is a real big dragon. Wish him to the Summer Fae.
All right. Three more questions, so we'll go back in reverse order, starting with Ryan this time. What's your favorite legendary or artifact item?
Well, I haven't encountered that many so far.
I will alter this question for people who might not know many artifact or legendary items. If you want to choose just a normal magic item of some fashion, that's fine too. Just what's your favorite item, I guess.
Okay. So I know that this is kind of a meme answer, but I like the possibilities presented by the deck of.
Okay, deck of many things.
I know that about 90% of the time it completely ruins the campaign. But
well, somebody in your party has one.
I like the possibilities of that. Like the anticipation of I'm either going to level up and then 3 times or I'm going to summon a demon that's going to duel me to the death. I like the possibilities.
I will say Thorn pulled several times things happened. He had to
Not-
fight.
not great things.
He had to fight what was it?
A Reaper?
A Reaper.
Yeah.
Or death. It was supposed to be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was pretty sweet though.
But I beat that, and then I decided to pull again, and I donjoned myself, and then a whole slew of things had to happen. So,
Yeah.
Lex, what about you? What's your favorite item?
There are a ton of super cool magical arrows. But I think so from a practical standpoint, this is tricky. Okay, I mean, bag of holding is just super useful.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's my final answer though, but at least it's a good enough for now answer.
I mean, your bow's pretty sweet.
I know, I love Fenthras. Fenthras is fantastic. I was gonna say Fenthras, but I was like, how do I even explain them? There's just any magic item is a good magic item because
Yeah, because we don't have magic items. So, yeah. I mean, it's
all of them.
Well, if you believe the conspiracy theorists, we have altered items.
Well,
Like,
Just like items that strange things have happened around them, so people believe that the items generate the strange occurrences.
like a monkey's paw.
I
All right.
see.
Rob, what about you? Favorite item?
Is it like favorite item in game or that I'd like to have in real life?
All it says is just what is your favorite legendary artifact item. So, just something that you think is cool, I guess.
Well, that destroys my answer because I was going to say the everlasting potion of healing if it was real life, because then I could just go back, hey, I'm not feeling so well. Oh, potion of healing.
Bacon flavored.
Yeah.
I don't know. The alchemy jug might actually be pretty good.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that mayonnaise.
Actually, you know what? I like the hat you gave me.
The Tensor's floating disc hat.
The top hat that you can throw when it turns into Tensor's floating disc. I like the idea of it.
Awesome.
All right. Gambit, favorite magic item.
I know it's probably not even real because it's so rare and I've never seen one. But the Cloak of Displacement, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You said Cloak of Displacement?
Don't we have like 3?
No, we have 1.
Oh.
You guys don't understand. This is like a mythological item.
Talk to Tyrus.
I would have put flying boots at the top of mine, but they're always filled with lava. So
only for you.
Yeah, I know.
Only for you. And the crazy thing is, too, is like if Ryan gave you a pair of winged boots, they would just fill in with lava when you touch them.
Mm-hmm.
So
is that a Rob thing or a Ryder thing?
It's a Rob thing.
Oh.
Rob is cursed.
Thorn's answer is the ring that Gambit gave him that makes him stop aging. So he can have a prolonged life past 30 years. So,
gotta hang out with Gambit more often.
Question number 19. If you were a god in D&D universe, what would your domain be? Let's start with Ryan.
Let's see. What would my domain be? So we're talking about cleric domain or paladin?
No, like life, death.
All right.
Storm. Light.
Let's see. Chicken parmesan.
Oh shit.
How specific.
You're getting right up there with the great cosmic creator spoon, huh?
Hey, we could be friends.
All right. Is that your answer?
I mean, a lot of the good ones are already taken. Right? But I don't know, the domain of...
Well, they overlap.
The domain of respecting minimum wage employees.
All right. Looking out for the little guys.
But yeah, I mean, that's my best two answers.
All right. Lex.
Probably domain of protection. I'm a very defensive person.
All right. Oh man, honestly, that probably would have been my answer too. I do tend to be somewhat protective. Rob.
King of games. God of games.
You're just going to be huge.
Yep.
Right.
I just posted that in the Discord too.
Yeah.
But yeah, games. A game domain.
All right.
Okay,
All types of games. Board games, card games, video games. It's my jam.
You know, it's maybe if you let me win at a board game once in a while, maybe those boots would be less filled with lava. Gambit. If you were I'm guessing it's the arcane for you, right? Is Donnie falling asleep on us?
Kind of got to go get food.
He said he had to go get food in the Discord.
All right. Well, I'm gonna guess because as Thorn knows Gambit pretty well. He would choose the arcane domain, but not want to step on Mistra's toes about it.
Oh, that's had this discussion.
Yeah.
I asked if he was allowed to attack Mistra.
If Thorn ever became a god, he would become. He'd have to fall under the life domain. I mean, that's just his general thing. All right, so here's, and no lie, yesterday when we answered these questions, Apple's answer, she legit pilfered my answer. But last question, we're going to start with Rob on this one. If you could play a one-shot with any people in the world, who would you play with and who would DM? If you want, we can come back to you if you need to think about it.
No. I mean, as much as I was I said the Critical Role drives me crazy after a while just because of the... it's the kind of thing where it's entertaining, but I don't like to watch other people play it. It's I want to play it. So I guess my DM would be Matt Mercer. And then... for people, I'd like all of you guys to be able to be there, and then add some celebrities in, but that might be too many people. But so I'm going to just say you guys, and then if I can, I would have Travis from there because I really like him, and Liam, and then probably Jensen Akeley, so I could sit next to him and see what kind of character. I feel like he would come up with a weird character that Matt would make into canon. That was OP.
Okay. Lex, what about you?
Yeah, it's a cheesy answer. I don't know. I guess because I don't have any strong connection to any celebrity, any people. It's a game that you play with your friends. So I personally would have the most time playing with my friends. So I already have the most ideal D&D group.
Aww. 500 bonus XP for Lex. Okay, so important question now, Lex. Would you want me as a DM, or would you want me as a player to play with all of you and have somebody else DM?
That is a good question. Player, but I don't know who would DM. It would just kind of be some non-entity DM that just drives the world. And then we're all just vibing in the world.
All right. The giant invisible hand of God DMs.
Yeah.
Ryan, what about you?
All right, here comes my unwieldy D&D group.
Okay.
Okay, all of us, right?
Yeah.
but also Bill Murray,
Okay.
okay, Liam Neeson, Nicolas Cage, David Tennant, Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
Entertaining as hell game.
And who's DMing?
I mean,
I
think-
can only think of one possible DM for that game.
you know what? I'm sorry, Lex came up with the perfect answer.
Oh,
Morgan Freeman.
Yep. That was going to be what I was going to say, because I think that was Donnie's answer yesterday.
I don't want to play favorites with any of our DMs, but
It's the voice, man.
you know what?
It's that soothing voice.
2 weeks ago, I would have said Gilbert Gottfried as the DM.
Oh, man.
I need him to play a goblin in the party.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he can no longer DM.
All right, Gambit. This is going to be interesting, because you got to do it in character.
Yeah.
So Gambit sits down to play D&D.
Jack Black.
Oh,
Thorn. There's a couple people back home.
Forgot Jack Black was canon in game.
Yep.
The DM, Archmage Clark.
Okay. Thorin's answer would be Gambit. Probably. Oh, I don't know if Thorn's ever met. Oh, we had to have met Crank and Crunk. We passed them. Yeah.
Yeah, when they were going on the ship.
So Thorns would be Gambit, Crank, Crunk.
He left a lasting memory on him.
Tug. Probably Appa and Momo. And then, God.
In game, I think Sizixel would have been fun to play with. I never met Jake, but
I don't know
thought
who would
Sizixel was
DM. You know what? Mistra as a DM, just so.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to.
Just so.
I didn't want everybody to
the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, there you go. Everybody, you're level 20 now.
Aragon!
Yay!
Look at that.
All right, now we've all become liches.
So we are about 2 hours in. We're going to definitely end the episode there. That was one of our longer episodes, but that's fine. So with that being said, first off, Ryan, Lex, thank you for joining.
Yeah, of course.
This was fun.
Rob, do we have a science corner this week?
Yes. Do you want to talk about the ocean or the moon?
The ocean.
All right. So the ocean is we know less about the ocean than we do about the surface of Mars now. So it's still a lot of mysteries to find in the ocean, like plastic keeps disappearing and scientists don't know where it's going. Because we dump tons of plastic in the ocean and only a fraction of it is found in like the garbage patches. They don't know where tons and tons of it are disappearing to. Scientists still don't know why whales beach themselves. We can't really see how many. We don't know how many sea creatures live in the Twilight Zone, which is 200 meters below the surface of the ocean. It's from 2,000 to 100 meters, and then below that is called the Midnight Zone, which we don't even know if anything lives down there because it's constantly pitch black.
It's Cthulhu stuff.
I mean, maybe.
A lot of things lower down are bioluminescent, and we don't know why that is because it makes them easier to see for predators. And only 20% of the ocean floor has ever been mapped. So there's a lot of unexplored ocean. If anybody wants to go, more people have been to the moon than to the deepest part of the ocean. So,
we don't have a Devon, so we don't have a life advice this week. So yeah, I guess we'll just wrap up with. Let's see, Ryan, do you want to promote
Oh,
anything.
I have a life advice.
Oh, you're gonna step in for Devin?
Yeah,
Devin's
people
not
in
gonna
glass. What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
People in glass houses should get changed with the lights off.
I mean, that's.
That's pretty sound advice.
You know what? No. If I'm living in a glass house and it's my house, I get changed wherever I want. You don't like it, don't look. How's that? Boom. Everybody should get changed with the lights off except for me. Anyway, Ryan.
Do I have anything I want to promote?
Yeah.
Well,
Where can people find you on the internets if they want to reach out or support anything that you do?
I have a Twitter that I don't post anything to, and I have a Twitch channel that I am currently taking a hiatus from because I have no motivation. Fantastic. I mean, you know, I'm just around.
All right. Lex, what about you? Where can people find you on the internet if they want to support anything that you do?
Right now it's just Instagram and Twitter. Ursula's Revenge, spelled RVNGE. And that's it.
All right. Rob, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Professor_X and on Twitch at twitch.tv/ConfessorX.
Donnie. Go ahead.
You can find me by sending a message to Thorn.
Okay. So go figure. The first time you don't do it. As always, you guys can follow me on Twitter at JaxForestWalker, all one word. On Twitch at DMWebby. And on eBay at Looking for Devin. Because him lost. And Lex, we do have a tradition here.
Mm-hmm.
I have waged a personal war against Booster Gold, is known fact, and I sign off every episode with a fuck Booster Gold. I was wondering if you would be so kind as to sign us off.
You know what? Fuck Booster Gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FBG. Now the outro music's playing, but we can all talk over the outro music until I decide to end the...
As is tradition.
You guys remember that time that Webby called Booster Gold a superhero?
Listen, I mean, technically that's what he's classified as. I did do
So you're saying he's a hero?
I did my Booster Gold episode where I gave him props for doing whatever. I got nosebleeds. It was bad.
You know, Ryan didn't mention your one true biggest fail
My
in a
biggest
D&D game.
Do I fail?
I think you do. Pudding.
Oh. How could you?
Wait, did we skip him again? Twice?
No.
No.
I just didn't bring it up.
Pudding.
So we were fighting these hags, and when he was playing Gil, he decided that he was going to try and loot the hag, only he rolled a 1, and instead of finding anything useful, he just got a handful of hag titty.
Handful of hag titty.